Hi everyone! So today I am filming what will probably end up being a very long video. I am filming my July and August wrap-up video. I attempted several times to film my July wrap-up and every time something went wrong or I didn't like how it turned out. And it got so late I was like, well, I'm gonna have to film it in August. But both months were good reading months. I read 10 books in July and 9 books in August, although one was a graphic novel. So this video is going to be long. I'm just going to get into the video because, as I said, got a lot to get through. So the first book that I read in July was I Was Jane Austen's Best Friend by Cora Harrison. It's about a girl who is cousins with Jane Austen and she goes to live with them following a stint at boarding school with Jane, and it's about like her life, her adventures, and I say adventures, like her experience with them. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is a bit of a younger book. I wouldn't class this as a young adult. I would class it as a probably like children's sort of 11-year-old book. I had this one years and I never read it, and I don't like not have it, like, I was going to give it away, but I don't like not having read a book. So I thought, well, I'm just going to read it. And it actually turned out that I quite enjoyed it. Much more than I did the first time I tried to read it. One thing I'll say, that the characters were very similar to Austen's characters in the way they act, the way they speak, and the type of like job, so military men usually, and stuff like that. I'd recommend this to younger readers. As I said, I only read it because I hadn't read it. The next book that I read in like less than in one sitting basically. It was amazing and I loved it, and that was Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I knew nothing about this book, to be honest with you. I just kind of went into it blind and I quite liked that fact. To keep it simple, it's about a boy with severe facial deformities and his experience of starting school. Yeah, I really liked this book. It was beautiful and the writing was just amazing. One thing with it was that there were multiple point of views and I felt that some of them weren't really necessary, and I would have preferred to have kept like August, who's the boy, for more of it where other characters have a point of view and they're not really relevant. But that was just me. The story and the book was just so amazing. The third book that I read in July was Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. This is a dystopian. When everyone is 16, they have plastic surgery to make them pretty. And it's about this one girl, or she's always wanted to become pretty, like, but her friend runs away, and Tally, who's the girl, main girl, gets told that she must find Shay, who's her friend, or she'll never turn pretty, which is not a spoiler, it says on the back. And it was really interesting, the world was very clear in my mind and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and yeah, I would definitely recommend this, and I have read the sequel. The fourth book that I have read in July will come as no surprise to anyone who knows me or what my favourite book is or has watched not my previous haul but the haul before, and that is Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee. To Kill a Mockingbird is my favourite book of all time, like ever, and for this book I was so excited when it came. I literally started reading it straight away and I was halfway through the book I'm about to show you and I just dropped it. I had to read this. I read it really quickly. A lot of people have criticised it, saying they've changed the characters too much, but it's set almost 20 years later. Okay, not quite 20 years, but almost 20 years later, and times have changed, and I think a lot of people forget that when they read it. It wasn't that the characters are that different in reality, it's just they're fitting in with the times. Yeah, I would totally recommend this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. Not as much as To Kill a Mockingbird, but I still loved it, and yeah, just if you're hesitant about picking it up, pick it up and read it, but just remember that the time it's set in is different to the time To Kill a Mockingbird is set in. As I said, I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with this book. I then read We Were All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler. This book I have reviewed on my blog. First of all, I can't really tell you much about this book because quite early on there is a huge plot twist. And if I told you anything, it would ruin this plot twist, and it's quite a shock to the story. I didn't see it coming and I don't think many people have. And it was so amazing. I loved this book. It was really good. It was quite a long read, I found it. It's not particularly thick, but I just found it took me quite a while to read. I would recommend this, definitely. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. As I said, I don't want to say much about it because of the spoilers, but I have written a review about it, spoiler free, on my blog, which I will link down below. Sorry about the self-promo. The following book I have also reviewed, and that is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This is based on 1001 Nights? Yes, inspired by 1001 Nights, and it's a story of a king who takes a new bride every night, and the following morning she is killed. Stop spamming me. Shazad? I don't know how you say the main character's name. Her best friend, I think it's her best friend, Shiva, was killed. And so she decides, right, I'm going to go and I'm going to see why this is happening. And it's her story of how she survives and her relationship with the king. This book lived up to the hype 10 times over. It was amazing. I loved it so much. It's so different to anything else I've read. Oh my god, this cover is beautiful. I just love this book so much. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The 7th book that I read in July was Extraordinary Means by Robin Schneider. First of all, I love the cover of this book. Told from the point of view of 2 teenagers, and they have been sent to Latham House, which is, on the back it says, a boarding school for 16s. It's basically an outbreak of drug-resistant TB, and everybody's sent to these boarding schools who has it so that they can't infect the general public. It's really thought-provoking, and one thing I said in my blog post was that it sums up society's reaction to illness and outbreaks and disease perfectly. Like, everybody is terrified of them when they go out, but they're just normal kids. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The 8th book that I read this month was probably, I think, it was my least favourite of this month, and that is Ketchup Clouds by Annabelle Pitcher. I liked the story, and I liked her other book, her debut novel, My Sister Lives on the Mantelpiece. The thing I found with this book was that the narrator appeared very juvenile. She's a teenager in this book. I just found that the narration style was too similar to My Sister Lives on the Mantelpiece, and the narrator of that is a 5-year-old. You see my problem, and I struggled to get around the fact that this is actually a teenager doing GCSEs, I think, and she's talking like a 5-year-old. But I did like the storyline, I did like the premise. My friends read this and she loved it, so I think that's probably my opinion. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either, to be honest with you. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was fantastic. Oh my god, it blew me away. I loved it so much. It was just perfect. And this book, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Aristotle. I so struggled to write this blog post for this book because I just couldn't find the words to summarise how I felt about it. Such a gorgeous book, and I would 100% recommend this to everyone. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. It's about 2 boys, Aristotle and Dante, and their friendship. There's a strong family element, and oh my god, this book was just amazing. So yeah, definitely recommend this book. This was one that also lived up to the hype. The final one that I read in July was a bit of a letdown, to be honest with you. The cover definitely is nicer than the book. I just got a bit sick of the book, and I got a bit sick of the narrator. Plain. I can still hear it. I didn't really get the humour. And that book is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I can still hear that playing. Yeah, this cover is absolutely stunning. It's really bright, and I like that. There's not many books that have covers this bright and colourful, and I think that's something that should definitely be more of. Basically, it's about a guy, Greg, who's a bit of a loner, and his friend, or his acquaintance, Earl. Greg is asked by his mom to show some attention to Rachel, who has cancer, and he's just, I get that some of the things he says would probably be genuine feelings, but he just seems so insensitive. Like, there were times he wasn't even trying to empathise, and I just got really frustrated with this book. Yeah, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't particularly like Greg or Earl. Rachel was nice, but she didn't feature that much in the book, to be fair. So now I am going to start with my August books, and the first 4 I have already mentioned in my Booktubeathon wrap-up, as I read those during Booktubeathon. I will do a quick summary, but I think I took more in that video. The first one was The Queen of the Tilling by Erica Johansson. I loved this book. This was 5 out of 5 stars easily. I'm not really a fantasy person, but this was amazing and I loved it. The next one I read during Tubathon was Forgive Me Leonard Peacock by Matthew Quick. This is the 3 out of 5 star read. It was okay, but it wasn't my favourite. I didn't like Leonard very much, but the storyline was good. It didn't really lack much, so that I found good. It wasn't my favourite, but it wasn't my least favourite either. The next one that I read, again during Booktubeathon, was Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I expected more of this book. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It just lacked something. The pace kept changing, and I think I just spoke about it in my Booktubeathon wrap-up video. But just as I was going to put it down and start another book, it got faster, and then it got slower, and then I'd go to put it down, and then it got faster. And I just didn't really know where I was with it, to be honest. The characters were okay. I mean, Rainbow's characters are really well created. I just didn't particularly like them. Like, they weren't the kind of people that I liked, but I definitely prefer Fangirl by her. That was amazing. I loved that book so much. But yeah, 3 out of 5 star read. And then the final one I read during Booktubeathon was The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. It was such a beautiful book. Again, I spoke about this in the video and I told you what it was about and stuff. All the characters were just amazing, and yeah, I would definitely recommend this book to anyone. I can see why it's people's favourite. And it was a really quick read. It's really short and the margins on it are massive. So yeah, definitely recommend this book. And I realise I keep looking in the mirror, which is working as my viewfinder, and I'm really sorry. Well, I started All the Bright Places and it wasn't suiting my mood at all. So I switched to Pretties by Scott Westerfeld, and this was so good. I think I preferred Uglies, but it was fast paced, loads happened. Yeah, I really liked it, but apart from the fact that the beginning was a bit slow for me, not a huge amount happened to start with, but it definitely picked up pace as it went through. And if I never hear the word bubbly again, I will be so happy because it is really overused. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I will be picking up specials at some point when I have money and I have gotten through some of the other books I have yet to read. And I picked up Am I Normal Yet by Holly Bourne, and it's still at my tabs in, but yeah, I've got to say them out. This, oh god, I love this book so much. It just had me laughing. The characters were so realistic and relatable. And basically this book is about a girl called Evie, and she has severe OCD and anxiety. And she's just recovering it. She's just starting at college. It's about her basically trying to fit in and be a normal teenager, and like dealing with relationships and boy issues. It just had me cracking up because it's so realistic. I mean, I didn't have an experience of OCD, but from what I've read about it and like what I've heard before, it seems really accurate. I just think that the author had a good idea about what she was talking about, and she didn't romanticise it, but she didn't over dramatise it either. And 5 out of 5 stars. And if you want a book that focuses on mental health and is a YA, this is the one to go for. This, and I loved Finding Audrey as well. Then I finally went back to All the Bright Places, which again still has the tabs in because I still haven't taken that yet, by Jennifer Niven. Yeah, this is about a boy called Theodore Finch and a girl called Violet Markey, and they meet on the top of the school bell tower, both about to take their own lives. That's not a spoiler, doesn't matter. It's about their like friendship and then working on a school project together. The second half of this book I definitely preferred to the first, but I think that was because I read the first half while it just wasn't right for my mood, and it was just not working for me. Whereas the second half was right. I was like, yes, I want to read this, and I enjoyed it a lot more. So I do think that affected my opinion of it. Well, I love the cover of this book as well. I think it's really pretty. I liked the characters, although I found them a bit, like there wasn't much to them at times. Like their main role in the novel was to be suicidal. They didn't really have much substance to them at other times, like what made them individual, but then at other times they seemed like they had massive characters and stuff, so I didn't really know. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was a bit overhyped, but again, it wasn't like it was awful. It was good, but it wasn't amazing. I then picked up a graphic novel, Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. The artwork in this is gorgeous, for one thing. I don't know if you can see it. I really liked this book. I just didn't realise how creepy and scary it would be. And put it this way, I'm glad I wasn't reading this in bed at night. I read it like early evening, so it was still light outside and it was okay. I give this 4 out of 5 stars as well. I really enjoyed it. It's my first graphic novel that I've read. And I will probably pick it up and reread it again and again, because I think with a graphic novel you can pick it up and you'll see different things in the pictures and it'll be like a new experience. If you want a short graphic novel, it doesn't take very long to read, and you want to be a bit creeped out, then I would definitely recommend this. Just don't read it late at night. The final book that I read this August was actually a reread, and also I needed to read it for school, which is why I reread it, and that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I love this book. I always have loved this book, and I read it about 4 years ago. This time, however, I enjoyed it more, and I think being a bit older when I read it, I was able to appreciate the humour, which I didn't really get the first time I read it, because I remember hearing people saying, oh, it's really funny, and I was like, it's not funny. It's good, but it's not funny. Yeah, it's funny. And like Mr. Bennet especially, he's amazing. He just winds everyone up, and it had me cracking up. Elizabeth as well, she made me laugh too. Obviously 5 out of 5 stars. So yeah, that's my July and August wrap up. I don't think I'll be as successful in the amount of books I read this September, because it's back to school and it's going to be hectic. I've already scheduled quite a few blog posts going up, and I've pre-filmed a load of videos. Hopefully after a couple of weeks I've settled down and I'll have more time again to read and film and write reviews. As always, in the comments down below, leave me any opinions of any of these books or books that you would recommend or you've read. Let me know, because I love reading your comments and your opinions. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!